Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video. Well, it is a big day. This is the start of the Robotaxi service from Tesla, and I thought the best way to start off this momentous day is here at the state capital of Texas. Of course, the Robotaxi service is being unveiled, and for the very first time allowing public opportunities to drive in it today here in Austin, Texas. And I'm just really glad to be able to get a chance to try this out, share it with you, and kind of give you a little bit of an idea throughout the day of what it is like to use the Robotaxi service. Hey everybody, it's Joe. I'm here with JC, and we have the very first Robotaxi ride on the way to us. We're using the Robotaxi app, and we set it up for about a 3-mile trip, and it should be here in about 2 minutes or so. So hopefully we'll get some video of that and show you what the whole process is like. So what do you think?
Man, I am so excited, Joe. Man, first of all, dude, thank you so much for honoring me with letting me ride along with you. So just want to give a huge shout out to Joe. I am really looking forward to this. This is going to be awesome. The first Tesla driverless Robotaxi ride. And you know what? The skies opened up on us, and as soon as that app started downloading, what had happened? The sun came out. Blue skies. Look, it's meant to be.
So 1 year of Robotaxi is now complete. We're getting ready to start the second year, and it's probably going to begin very soon with a lot of these Cybercabs joining the fleet. So a lot of great things to be looking forward to, and hopefully we're going to see it expanding to multiple different cities and scaling up the Robotaxi fleet this year. So without further ado, let's get into the drone, fly around, and see what Giga Texas looks like today. As always, thank you very much for your support. I very much appreciate it. If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, good morning from a beautiful day here at Giga Texas to start off the work week. I do have some pretty exciting Cybercab action at the end of the video, so make sure you watch all the way through. But for right now, we're going to start at the north of the site, looking at the central support campus with the Cortex 2 die shop and battery cathode plant. And as we continue to fly further to the north, I'll show you where the construction site, the reclamation work here for the Optimus factory is well underway. And as I continue to point more towards the northeast, you can see the progress that is being made on that large foundation. At the bottom of the screen is where that reclamation work is continuing. They're filling in the pond at the bottom left. We can see more fill dirt has been brought in as they continue to raise the grade, and more of the work on the hills onto the right-hand side of the screen. So this is still going to take a little bit of time, probably another month or so before this is ready for construction. Now on the prepared part, we see at the south end more of that gray gravel has been mixed in with the soil, kind of strengthening the soil, preparing for more of that construction as it goes further to the south. In the middle section, we see many more of the footings. Some of these are those like half pedestal height ones, and the ones in the gray area are the larger, deeper or taller of those pedestal footings. More of the steel is around the site today, getting ready to be installed. We now have 7 cranes at work, so they are expecting to really speed up this process. Of course, the main structure itself is kind of right here in the middle, extending from the east to the west side, more or less. Still waiting for the perimeter grade beam to be constructed so they can get to the edges. But in the meantime, more of the steel erection is underway. And we can see that even some of the roof section is being added onto that center section, the tallest one. That gives you an idea of the slope of the roof once it's completed, and that's all for that rain management. As I zoom back out, a better shot of all of the footings to the north of where that steel structure is. More of the work on those footings is continuing, and up to the farther north, we see the geopier action, and this is putting in all those piers that will be supporting more of those footings, and of course filling out the outline with the beveled edges on either side of this part of the factory. And we know that as they continue to work to the south, until we see these beveled edges, we know that they have further to go. So I bring the drone back down a little bit more, a good view of the work here with these footings, more of the steel that's been set on the ground waiting for the installation. And I'm kind of expecting to see them arrange the cranes and have kind of like that race that we saw a long time ago where the battery cathode section of the main building was built. We had the cranes kind of racing each other as they were filling out the center or the steel structure. So we will see if that is in fact the case, but it looks like they also may be preparing to do the same thing heading to the south. So this structure will build from the center out to the north and south. Great view of more of the footing work, some of the gravel that's being brought in, and all of this is again to prepare all of the soil and strengthen it for the necessary construction. And across the dirt road, more of that reclamation work. This gives you a great kind of an overview of what that appears like now. Some of the trees still remaining, and then back to that central support campus with the battery cathode plant and Cortex 2. As I maneuver around here, we can see that they are starting to build some structures on the upper right. This is to relocate some of the workshops. Also, in this central section, they are bringing in a lot of fill dirt. They're reclaiming part of this kind of old sand and gravel mine that is remaining. Of course, the trees will probably continue to be removed. Looks like they may be trying to widen out that section where the factory is being built, perhaps maybe joining into Lone Tree Field, which is what we are looking at here. There is the lone tree at the bottom of the screen. It is cordoned off. They do intend to try to keep that tree here, but we are also seeing the material staging yard and where more of the steel for that construction is being temporarily stored. As I pull away, we can see the trees on the left. We'll see where River Road is coming through and all that work underway, and it will eventually connect in here to the Lone Tree Field as well. I expect there'll probably be some sort of road at the bottom of the screen. The dirt road turned into maybe a permanent one as we get back over towards the trailers and the temporary diesel refueling station at the bottom of the screen. More steel is being put on the left-hand side of the screen and the bottom of the screen. And here's a zoom in of showing you some of the workshops that are being installed. There's more of the kind of the roof beams at the bottom right. So I expect to see more of this kind of structure being added. There's more on the right-hand side of the screen as well coming into view where they are building another temporary workshop. So I do think that this is where most of the workshops on the east side for the advanced technology chip fab is going to be brought. The work to reclaim this part of the site is well underway. Almost all of the concrete was crushed and disposed of. That central pipe here, which is the remnants of the old baghouse plant. I've had some people say that maybe the reason why it's here is because it's contaminated. The thing is that it was used as a drainage pipe earlier on, about 3 years ago, on the east side. So if that were the case, I don't think they would use it for drainage, but it is still interesting that it is here. More of the earthwork here on this part of the site being filled in and raising up the grade, putting in some channels, it looks like, and of course River Road has its coming together at the bottom right of the screen. Bring the drone up to a higher altitude to look back towards the Optimus factory, all of the earthwork and grade work that is underway towards the battery cathode plant, and a nice shot across the central support facility, and of course the crash test facility, and then following River Road off to the left around where that advanced technology chip fab construction site will be. So I'm going to bring the drone back down and we'll reposition over towards Cortex 2, and we'll take a look at what is going on at that part of the site here momentarily. In the infield here between the battery cathode plant and Cortex 2, more of those workshops in that dirt section where I think we're going to see more of them installed. More workshops on the east side. A lot of materials here on the north side, including these blue and silver HVAC ductwork, and work continues to prepare for more of the megapacks here on the east side. You can see conduit being installed on the ground in 2 different places, and of course this new workshop with these 4 kind of domed roofs over where the containers are shows you that a lot of this is related to the conduit with all of the various parts and equipment that are around. We see the trench work, the concrete vaults that are heading over towards where the other vaults are, and then the conduit kind of paralleling where the megapacks are going to be. Looks like there is a covered temporary workshop where megapacks will eventually be located. And of course, part 1 of the megapack site is operational, at least right now. And we'll be looking for more of the megapacks to be arriving here pretty soon. On the south end, not much change. We do see some bins for rubbish at the bottom of the screen. Of course, the temporary cooling unit and the permanent cooling unit, which today we see looks like 3, maybe 4 of the fans were operational. More of the megapacks here at the bottom of the screen. And of course, part 2, the cooling system with these excavations near the base of the wall. I think this is going to be electrical conduit. The plastic covered items may be chillers that are associated with the cooling plant. I've had a few viewers say that they believe that is the case. So still more work on that cooling system before it's ready. Of course, here's a better shot of the workshops. And as we maneuver around over the battery cathode plant, looking back to the east and northeast, we can see what that work with River Road appears like today. The filtration pond has got a little bit of mud at the bottom, but otherwise it looks like it's fine after all the rains. Of course, more of the workshops here next to the east side of the battery cathode plant. And that temporary platform now has a closed-in structure, at least with plastic on the top. As we apply over the crash test facility, going to position to take a look at the site for this advanced technology chip fab. Of course, this is the joint venture project with SpaceX. This will be developing, modifying, and iterating on the chips that will be used for future products for both Tesla and SpaceX. There is more of the steel corrugated pipe and other pipes here stored temporarily until it is installed around the site. Of course, part of River Road and the bottom of the screen has had that paving, at least on 2 of the lanes. As we pass over towards this major site, we see some workers getting ready to begin that work today. More of the clearing and kind of some white and orange barricades on the bottom right of the screen have been put in. You can see the fence line for the East Warehouse on Wheels has been moved further towards the factory, and that may indicate just how the site here is going to expand. I put up this kind of dotted line just so you get a better idea of probably what it's going to look like and when it is constructed. And of course, I'll keep watching that, and we'll refine as we learn more with what is going on at the site. But clearly, a lot of the clearing is underway. You can see the gravel being removed at the bottom of the screen to widen out this area, and the fence at the bottom right next to the trailers. So it may be that the East Warehouse on Wheels is going to still be here, but just narrower to allow for the construction and the new building. More geopiers on the left of the screen. This workshop has had one of the buildings removed, the kind of center right of the screen, and they're removing the roof for the other part. Pretty soon this entire workshop will be completed, gone, and all of the materials will be removed. And of course, more of the steel onto the center of the screen needs to be removed as well. And then as we work farther to the south, all of these workshops, the materials, the equipment, and everything else will have to be relocated. That's why they're building all those structures to the far north, including the replacement for the recycle center, which is in the center of the screen. So a good overall view of this construction site and some detail about what is going on as they continue to make preparations. The water retention pond is continuing to have its perimeter wall built, and they're finishing up on the west side. You see a trench has been added in next to this excavator, and it kind of trails off to the middle of the site. Looks like there may be a couple of levels, maybe depths of this pond. We'll see how that continues to come together. But there's a great view of the west retaining wall, and then they'll be connected to the rest of them, and then a liner will be placed more likely than not to keep the water in. You see the trees are being removed in this section here. That differs from the original rendering because they showed the trees were still there, so that may also indicate where some of the construction is going to be in the very near future. So I'll keep watching that to see why they're removing the trees and what's going to go in there. This material staging yard and trailer section continues to see some new materials being brought in, probably for the relocation effort. And then next to these trailers, the conduit on the ground is mostly installed. It looks like there's a green transformer being installed in that section. Just to the south of the parking garage, this is that material staging yard where we see all of the crates. There's a lot more. This is associated with work that's being done inside the east side of the factory and building out more of the mezzanines and body in white. And we have some permits on that, which I'll be discussing in a future video. Here's a zoom in of the east side of the stamping section. That workshop really looks like the plastic needs to be removed and replaced because of all the wind damage. We see a lot more materials and the bins for recycling of the scrap of the stamping, and of course just a few of the Robotaxis, or the Cybercabs, sorry, coming out of the exit point for the main factory. As we continue to work our way back to the north, we see those temporary coolers next to that temporary loading platform. It looks like some materials have been brought in near that section. We see more materials on the ground along by the grass line, and then where these receiving docks, a lot more of the materials too. This looks like it's production line equipment, and it could be related to several different permits that talk about the work that's being done inside. Here, where these receiving doors are getting work, we can tell that there is work on the inside of the factory as well. You see these retaining bands that are supporting the concrete walls. We've also got the glass removed, and then the apron around the receiving doors has been removed as well. So some significant construction that is going on both inside and outside the factory at that location. That happens to be near where the north part of the Cybercab production line is located. And we also, with those permits, know that there is a lot of work going on inside. Here's a great view of some of the castings and the racks for those castings. Of course, the filtration plant and the melt center. A lot of scrap aluminum, and it looks like they're getting some of those aluminum wheels ready to be loaded up into the furnace loading system. The second part of that system that I've seen some permits show, we may be starting to see that coming together pretty soon. Here is the north lot with many of the bumper stands for painting, and also Cybercab kind of bucks, and those were apparently used for the initial setup of the line, but now are just being stored up here temporarily. Maybe they are no longer needed since the Cybercab production line is underway. We do see some more of the Cybertrucks pulling the racks with the Cybertruck castings for more production. And as we fly along the north end of the building, I'm going to zoom in here and just show you that work continues to expand out the 4680 cell production part of the factory where that large fan is. We've been seeing a lot of concrete removal, rebar work, and new concrete being added. And this is also where all of the cabinets and other production equipment have been brought in from the far southwest side material staging and installed inside the building. So I'll bring the drone up. We're going to cross over the highway and we'll resume on the other side where there's a new clearing. Here's a better close-up view of this new clearing. You can see that the grade is significantly lower than where the Tesla Road is off the right-hand side of the screen and Farm to Market 973 is. I'm not sure what the plan is here, but clearly they're removing a lot of the trees. They have the ponds that they're going to have to remove as well. Of course, this is still remnants of the old sand and gravel mining that was done here. It's one of the reasons why the grade is so much lower in this section. But maybe they're just preparing this for more material staging, or perhaps there's another construction project underway. Still not 100% sure. I don't see any permits that particularly talk about this site, so it'll be something that we will watch and see what happens. But clearly they're getting ready to expand this significantly and use more of the land that Tesla has had purchased and has owned for about 6 years now. The steel that is here is still being stored for use. Most of this has been used on the inside for construction in addition to the basic floor plan of the building, so maybe that will be what that is for. Next to the Evapco fans, we see those transformers. This is one of two large sections for transformer storage on the site. The other one's a little bit farther to the south from here. And I think overall there's about 200 transformers, once again, stored here at Giga Texas. This material staging yard has seen some changes, some cleanup. There's a fence section at the bottom of the screen with more of the materials. Of course, the two canopies are really not being used right now. And then on the south side of the tree line, we see some excess racks for castings, other production equipment, and then this building materials, which looks like trusses and some other items that may be related to production. It'd be something to see where those are going to be used or if it's just excess. It's hard to tell for sure. As we get to the north end of the end of line facility, a few things that are going on today where this is the last week of the last part of the second quarter. So there's a lot of deliveries that are underway. We can see that with the delivery center today next to these canopies. And as we kind of go around the end of line, we'll see many of the customer cars are lined up, and in the parking lot are many more cars for customers, all being ready for the delivery, and they want to try to get this done before the end of the quarter. There's also a large grouping of Cybertrucks in the middle of this parking lot. So a lot more are going to be delivered soon. We do see more of the barricades being added here along the roadway at the bottom of the screen. And then as we continue to maneuver towards the outbound lot, I wanted to show you how empty it is. On Friday, the right-hand side of the screen was completely full of vehicles of all kinds, including Cybercabs. Now it's completely empty as these have been shipped out to try to complete the deliveries before the end of the quarter. As we move our way back towards the wash rack on the left and where many of the Cybercabs are being stored temporarily, this is a great view of what this looks like. I'll bring the drone down lower so we get more of a ground level view. The inventory here seems to have changed since my last video, at least to some degree. So there is still movement and flow of the Cybercabs out from this lot. Some of the ones over on this side here have the Cybercab logos, and it does appear, based on some other views that I've had and some review of some of my videos, that the vehicles that say Cybercab do not have steering wheels. And I can't really say for sure about the other ones, but this may be for perhaps display in showrooms. Maybe it's Another indicator for maybe Robotaxi, it's really hard to say for sure, but clearly they are working on having vehicles without steering wheels along with the ones that are being used for testing and training. As we get over towards the end of line, there's this group of 8 more Cybercabs. One of them has the door open. I didn't see any people here, and you'll see that the door partially closes. I'm not sure what exactly is causing that or why it only closed a part of the way. But these have, some of them have the Cybercab logo, so no steering wheels. The other ones may or may not have the steering wheel kit, but this is kind of a close-in view of what this looks like today. And of course, the vehicles on the top of the screen is where the direct delivery is getting ready for customers. As I kind of maneuver the drone around the south side over the supercharger tents, I'll show you another grouping of the Cybercabs, also plenty of Cybertrucks on the left-hand side of the screen. I'll bring the drone down even lower. We'll fly along the line here, and it'll be probably near ground level view. We're probably about maybe 10 meters above the ground, but this gives you a kind of an idea of what it would look like here if you were to walk through. And all of these Cybercabs, this is not the last of the Cybercabs today. We still have more to see. It'll be over at the test track. So we'll reposition the drone. We'll take a look at a few other things and then make sure you wait for the end. There is some great Cybercab footage coming up. Earlier I mentioned that there's another place for all of the transformers. This is where it's located, combined between the one further north and this one. There's pretty close to 200 of the transformers here. Now, we have talked about this in the past. There's a pretty long lead time for transformers right now because they are in high demand for all kinds of applications, including AI data centers. So I think that's why Tesla is accumulating so many, and they're just trying to have that supply so when they get to their next project, they'll be able to go without delay. These workshops show all kinds of different kinds of materials, and some of them are studs for walls. Others are these blue test pipes for some of the cooling system. Of course, this is the supercharger workshop. See some of the cabinets at the bottom of the screen. We see some of the posts that are being put together on the right-hand side of the screen. Some power wall generator packs at the bottom. And then here are more parts for the superchargers. Some of these are those folding unit superchargers. And that's kind of a new version of the deployable ones that they have. And it helps speed up and lower the cost of installation. These are the last parts for the 4680 production line. There's just 3 cabinets remaining. One of them is on a yard truck getting ready to be moved. So soon all of those should be completed in that part of the building. As I zoom in, this is sort of the test track operations center for the Cybercab testing. We see still they're getting ready to put the rounded top roofs onto those poles in the planters. And we see the temporary trailer, a generator, and also some latrines as they get their operations here underway and until they get permanent structures. I'll keep the drone up at this altitude, fly over the power lines, and we'll come back down just for a little bit of a different view of what is going on. Now, the cool thing is today they have a lot of operations underway. Right here we see 6 Cybercabs, but we're going to see close to 15 more on the test track, and you can actually see some of them driving right now on the track, both on the right and the left-hand side. So I'm going to bring the drone in and we'll get in close. I'm going to zoom in and we get a chance to follow along the activity. This first one is on these rumble strips, and you can tell that the testing is to try to work on the noise, vibration, and harshness, also maybe suspension work. And you can see the yellow lanes in the middle that's being used for kind of marshaling in all of the Cybercabs. There's 9 more right now in this large lane, and we'll see many more that are already on the test track. As I bring the drone up, I'll try to keep the center of view on all of these Cybercabs, but as you can tell, many of them are in motion. I'm going to follow along the kind of curved part of the inner loop, and we'll just see how the action goes. They're doing some stop and go testing next to these cones, and they'll just continue all the way around. It looks like they're using these yellow sorting lanes to kind of group the Cybercabs into different sections. I'm not sure what this is, if this is autonomously driven or if it's driven by humans or if they're doing some testing that's related to different lanes, but you can see that they're all in different lanes. You can see some workers nearby, maybe doing some data collection, and then a large group of the Cybercabs coming to meet me as I maneuver here onto the east side. And I just wanted to give you a really good overall view here, looking back and keeping the zoom in of the activity. And you can see that it looks like there's about 10 of them right now into these lanes. There's another 3 or 4 at the top of the screen. And this is what they look like as they go around the corner in this large pack of Cybercabs. I think this is by far the most I've ever seen in motion at one location. And with the way that this is set up, we're probably going to see a lot more of that. So I'll let this play for a little while. We'll watch some more of the Cybercabs come through the lanes, and then we'll follow them around the east side kind of oval part of this inner track before we finish up the video. So I hope you enjoy these views. There you have it. I feel pretty fortunate to have been here at the right time to get all of these views. And as you can tell, the track, at least the inner part, is definitely being used now for Cybercab training and testing. And we'll just see how much more of that happens over time. So that'll be it for the video today. A lot to see and getting ready for the work week and the last week of the second quarter. As always, thank you very much for watching along and your support. I appreciate it. Take care.